Welcome to today's video. If you've ever wondered about the various network security threats that can compromise your data and disrupt systems, you're in the right place. In this video, we're diving deep into some of the most critical and fascinating cyber attacks that you need to know about. We'll explore attacks like the land attack, replay attack, and the infamous man-in-the-middle attack, breaking down how these threats work and why they're so dangerous. Ever heard of the on-path attack or ARP spoofing? I'll explain how attackers exploit vulnerabilities in networks to gain unauthorized access. We'll also uncover the mechanics behind IP spoofing, Smurf attacks, and ICMP-based attacks like the ping of death and the teardrop attack. These threats may sound technical, but don't worry, I'll simplify them so anyone can understand how they impact network security. And that's not all. We'll also discuss eavesdropping, the deceptive evil twin attack, and the notorious denial of service attack, which can cripple even the most robust systems. By the end of this video, you'll have a solid understanding of how these attacks work, why they're effective, and how you can stay protected. So, stick around, hit that like button, and let's dive into the world of network security threats.
OP stands for Address Resolution Protocol. OP poisoning is one of the most common ways hackers execute a man-in-the-middle attack. To understand how it works, let's explain how Address Resolution Protocol works in normal communication circumstances. Let's say device 1, which is a PC in a network, is looking for device 2, which is a router. The PC will send a broadcast message on the network that includes the IP address of the router in the hopes of getting the router's MAC address. Since the router has the IP address that the PC is looking for, the router will share its MAC address, and the PC will save it in an OP cache table for all future communications. Malicious hackers take advantage of this process. They intercept the broadcast message and send the OP response again, but instead of responding with the hacker's IP address, they spoof the IP address of the router. Now, the MAC address that will be stored in the OP cache table will belong to the hacker's device, not the router. In order for the hacker to add their MAC address to the OP cache table, they needed to spoof the IP address of the router. This creates a man-in-the-middle attack scenario. Once inside, the hacker can snoop around the whole network and see all the data traffic before sending it to the router. OP poisoning techniques can sometimes depend on insecure network protocols like HTTP, FTP, and Telnet. Having said that, hackers can always find their way inside a network through other techniques. I hope you found this video helpful. Remember to activate multi-factor authentication. Stay safe, and I will see you in the next one. The ultimate goal of IP spoofing is to execute cyber attacks without being detected. Friends, today we talk about IP spoofing, but first, if you watch the whole video, by the end I will share with you a tip to protect yourself and your loved ones from social engineering situations. Every device connected to a network has an IP, or Internet Protocol address. When information is sent across the internet, it is sent in a packet with the source and destination IP addresses. Just like a letter sent to a mailbox, it has the details of the sender and the receiver. IP spoofing takes advantage of this process by faking the source IP address inside the packet. Malicious hackers take advantage of this process in order to hide their IP address when executing attacks on targets. They can even amplify this process by sending as many IP packets as possible in order to disrupt someone else's internet service via a denial of service attack. Hackers do this to fool the target device into trusting the source IP address in order to execute their hacking activities. One way to protect yourself from IP spoofing is to use a VPN, which encrypts your traffic and hides it from hackers. In today's world, hacking techniques have evolved significantly, and that includes social engineering situations. Unfortunately, social engineers can take advantage of people with good manners and intentions. One of the tricks used by social engineers is the use of business cards. Don't trust someone just because they have a business card. Social engineers use fake business cards to try to get access to certain places. If you are presented with a business card, always verify the information before taking any action. Remember to use a VPN. Stay safe, and I will see you in the next one.
Land attack is a type of a denial of service attack. LAN stands for Local Area Network Denial. This attack was first discovered in 1997. This involves sending a spoofed poison packet to a target device that causes it to become overwhelmed or unresponsive. It exploits vulnerabilities in the TCP/IP protocol stack to create a loop that keeps the system busy without processing any useful data. This is how it works. The malicious actor crafts the poisonous packet by sending a packet with the same source and destination IP address and source and destination port number. This tricks the target system into thinking it's sending a packet to itself. When the target system receives this packet, it attempts to respond. But since it sees its own IP as both the sender and receiver, it loops back the packet to itself, leading to endless processing of the same packet. As the system repeatedly tries to respond to itself, it consumes CPU, memory, and network resources, eventually slowing down or crashing. Users may experience lag or downtime because the system is too busy handling these self-directed packets. The malicious hacker can craft this packet by IP spoofing. This type of denial-of-service attack was more effective in older systems with limited DOS protection. At the time of discovering this attack, many systems were not designed to handle self-directed packets. The current protection against this attack is by configuring many modern networks to detect and block such self-referential packets at the firewall level or discard malformed packets. I hope you found the video helpful. Remember to disable Bluetooth when not in use. Stay safe, and I will see you in the next one.
Capturing data across the network and retransmitting it, or in this case, replaying it as if it were coming from one party to another, is called a replay attack. The goal behind the replay attack can be to redirect the data, repeat it, manipulate it, or even delay it. The captured data can be login credentials or session IDs. Replay attacks can come in many forms, like a wireless replay attack, for example, where the attacker intercepts the communication between a wireless device and an access point. The goal behind the wireless replay is either to disrupt the service or gain unauthorized access. Another type is a JSON Web Token replay attack, where the attacker captures the authentication token and reuses it to access systems. Replay attacks can be either active or passive. In an active replay attack, the hacker intercepts the data, while in a passive one, the hacker merely monitors the traffic. Methods to prevent replay attacks involve using a VPN, a one-time password, and enabling multi-factor authentication. Stay safe, and I will see you in the next one. On-path attack is also known as man-in-the-middle attack. The attacker monitors traffic between two workstations and can redirect or alter it without the knowledge of the users. Once the attacker positions themselves in this place, different types of attacks can be launched. This can include IP spoofing and op poisoning. On-path attack can also facilitate the process of implementing malware on your system. This attack can be executed using different methods, and there is no one solution for maximum protection. The best defense strategy is to implement a number of security procedures in place to mitigate the attack. This includes implementing HTTP strict transport security configurations on web servers. Additionally, ensuring that authentication policies are implemented adds an extra layer of security. And finally, having a strong incident response plan in place can assist in dealing with such attacks. I hope you found this video helpful. Stay safe, and I will see you in the next one. Unlike the happy Smurf characters we all know about, the Smurf attack is a serious cybersecurity threat employed by hackers for malicious purposes. This type of attack happens at the network layer of the OSI model. By the end of this video, you will understand the meaning behind the name of this attack. Smurf attacks caused quite a commotion in the 1990s, when the internet was still in its early stages. For this attack to be successful, the hacker needs to spoof the IP address of its victim. IP spoofing means that hackers send IP packets from a false source address that doesn't belong to them in order to deceive recipients about the origin of the packet. Malicious hackers always try to hide their origins, and spoofing is the technique they use. Technically, this means that the attacker manipulates the source address field in the IP packet header to make it appear as if the packet is coming from a trusted source, when, in reality, it's from a different and often malicious source. Think of this network infrastructure. Let's say we have two devices. A is for the attacker, and B is for the target, and we also have about 3,000 hosts on the network. These hosts are basically the Smurfs. The attacker has an IP address of 4.4.4.4, and the target has an IP address of 4.4.4.5. The hacker will spoof the target's IP address and send an ICMP echo request message to the 3,000 hosts on the network, which will make them think it is coming from the victim or the target device, meaning that the IP address sent from the hacker is now 4.4.4.5 and not 4.4.4.4. The act of changing of the IP address is the IP spoofing. This packet will now be sent to the router broadcast IP address, where the 3,000 hosts exist, and the router will believe it is coming from a trusted source. Once this huge number of hosts receive this spoofed ICMP echo request message, they will respond with a number of ICMP echo reply messages directed at the target. Remember, the target never sent this packet in the first place. Once the target receives this huge number of IP packets, the memory of the target, aka the buffer, will be overflown and overworked. This results in a buffer overflow, which will make the system of the target unavailable, causing a denial of service attack. This is one of too many attacks that can cause a denial of service that aims to consume the resources of the target. Think of it this way: someone with a malicious intent is using your number as theirs without telling you. Then this imposter sends a large group of people an invitation to a party you never arranged. The invitation here is the spoofed ICMP echo request message. Suddenly, all these people show up at your doorstep when you are not prepared, thinking that the message came from you, which in return overwhelms you and your resources. Although this is an old type of attack and can be mitigated with basic strategies, you should always consider updating your systems. This is why LCM or lifecycle management projects at any organization are important. LCM projects aim to keep the hardware equipment as well as the software applications always updated in order to keep up with any type of security threats. Another way to mitigate such an attack is to disable the ping commands on your network devices and activate them only when needed. When it comes to the reason behind this name, the key similarity between the attack and the cartoon characters is the idea of a large group overwhelming a target. In cybersecurity, naming conventions always aim to provide a quick and recognizable reference for a specific attack type based on its characteristics. This is why the name Smurf attack captures the essence of this attack, a coordinated and amplified assault, much like the way the Smurfs work together. Thank you for watching the whole video. Remember to use a VPN. Stay safe, and I will see you in the next one. ICMP stands for Internet Control Message Protocol. This is a network protocol. It exists at the network layer of the OSI model. ICMP is often utilized by tools like the ping command to check the reachability of a device. It works like this. The ping command sends an ICMP echo request message to the target device on the network. If the device is reachable, it responds with an ICMP echo reply message. ICMP ping flood attack takes advantage of this process and weaponizes it. The malicious actor can send a huge number of ICMP echo request messages to a target system or device within a short period of time. When this happens, the target device cannot handle such an overwhelming number of requests because it is beyond the capability of its bandwidth and processing power. The goal behind an ICMP ping flood is to cause a denial of service attack. This is just one of too many ways to execute a DOS attack. The huge volume of incoming ICMP requests can overwhelm the target's network. ICMP ping floods can be amplified by using multiple attacking systems, also known as bots. Malicious actors can even use reflection techniques to bounce ICMP requests off other systems to hide their origin and cover their tracks. There are many ways to defend against ICMP ping floods. Most of the time, network administrators can configure intrusion detection and prevention systems, as well as firewalls to filter the incoming traffic. Additionally, they could even disable ICMP as a security measure and enable it only when they need to. Think of these defense mechanisms like having a bouncer at a club, ensuring not too many people come in all at once. Thank you for watching the whole video. Remember to use a VPN. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Consider the teardrop attack as a cyber puzzle that aims to trick the computer by manipulating the components of IP packets and their assembly. Although this is an old attack, if you have old IT devices or you haven't upgraded or updated your security infrastructure, this will affect your IT space. So, old devices connected to the internet will be affected by this attack. This type of attack is also called a type of IP fragmentation attack. Basically, oversized payload. How the teardrop attack works is simple. For more effective transmission, data is frequently divided into smaller pieces before being sent over the internet. The operating system of the recipient reassembles these pieces of data. These pieces are often referred to as IP packets. An offset field in the IP packets indicates where the fragment was located in the original and complete packet before it was sent to the target. Using this data in the IP packet, the receiving system reassembles the whole packet. In a teardrop attack, the hacker modifies this offset fields in the IP packet such that when the pieces are rebuilt, the reassembling system overlaps and incorrectly reconstructs the fragments. The tampered pieces in the IP packet may cause the buffer of the receiving system to overflow or become overloaded. The system may crash, hang, or become unstable as a result of this. This achieves the goal of a teardrop attack to execute a denial of service attack by interfering with a computer or network's regular operation. Think of it this way. You send your target a lengthy letter that you broke up into smaller chunks rather than mailing it all at once. Your target gathers the components of your message. The components of the message basically represents the IP packet fragments. So, in the context of a teardrop attack, you tamper with the directions for reassembling the parts of the message. You may say, start reading from piece number 3, then jump to piece number 2, and go back to 1, and so on. The instructions should be obvious, but you want to purposefully confuse your target. This confusion is basically the teardrop attack, which later on leads to the buffer overflow, resulting in a denial of service attack. Different mitigations can be implemented to prevent this attack. This type of attack happens at the network layer. So, adding the right firewall configurations to filter large amounts of data is the first step. Then you can implement and configure cache servers. What these servers do is basically add all the incoming data in a temporary storage ahead of reaching the designated destination to make sure they don't overwhelm the target. Thank you for watching the whole video. Remember to activate multi-factor authentication. Stay safe, and I will see you in the next one.
Size does matter, because this type of attack involves sending data to the target system that exceeds the maximum allowable size. Friends, today we talk about the ping of death. In a normal network scenario, the ping command is used to send a small packet of data to the target device. This is called an ICMP echo request. The target responds with an ICMP echo reply. This is a common practice to check connectivity between devices. However, the ping of death takes advantage of how some systems handle exceptionally large ICMP packets. The attack involves sending an oversized ICMP packet to the target system. In the early days of the internet, some operating systems and networks did not properly validate the size of incoming ICMP packets. Attackers exploited this vulnerability to send ICMP packets larger than the allowable size. This causes buffer overflows, system crashes, or even remote code execution on the target system. Having said that, it's important to note that the ping of death is a relic of the past, because modern operating systems and networks have implemented safeguards to prevent such attacks. To protect against such attacks, it's important to always keep your systems up to date with the latest security patches. Thank you for watching the whole video. Remember to use a password manager. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Man-in-the-middle hackers are like digital chameleons, blending into your online activity unnoticed. By the end of this video, you will be armed with knowledge to safeguard your digital communication, and you will also know what tools hackers use in Kali Linux to execute such attacks. The goal behind this attack is to gain access to the target's online activity and manipulate sensitive data. This attack works by first installing a packet sniffer on the target's network to intercept insecure traffic. Such action allows the attacker to control the network traffic flow. Several techniques can be used to achieve this goal, like ARP and DNS spoofing. ARP spoofing works when the attacker sends false ARP messages to link their MAC addresses with the IP address of a legitimate device on the network, causing traffic to be redirected through the attacker's system. The attacker can use spoofing tools such as ARP spoof or DriftNet in Kali Linux to send out false ARP responses. Once achieved, the hacker implements a DNS spoofing strategy. This involves manipulating the DNS resolution process and redirecting users to malicious websites by providing false IP addresses. In Kali, a hacker can use multiple tools like Perp Suite or DNS spoof to direct the target to their desired address. This way, the attacker can intercept and modify the data exchanged during communication. The best way to mitigate man-in-the-middle attacks is to use a VPN because it will encrypt your online activity. Thank you for watching the whole video. Remember to use a password manager. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Hello friends, today is about eavesdropping. This is a technique used by hackers in order to intercept electronic communications. It involves a third party secretly listening to or monitoring communication without the knowledge or consent of the parties involved. Hackers can use different methods to implement this technique, like packet sniffing, which is basically intercepting and analyzing data packets as they travel across a network. On the other hand, there is wiretapping, which is physically tapping into communication lines to intercept conversations. And finally, man-in-the-middle attacks, in which the attacker intercepts and potentially alters the communication between two parties. Given the nature of this attack, different actions can be taken for prevention and protection, like encrypting end-to-end communication for security purposes and using a VPN, a virtual private network, which is another option to create a secure, encrypted tunnel for your online traffic. Thank you for watching the whole video. Remember to activate multi-factor authentication. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Hello friends, today is about evil twin attacks. This is a malicious form of cyber attack that preys on the unsuspecting trust users place in public Wi-Fi networks. This type of attack is based on setting up an access point similar to a one that you would set up in a real network. This is where the name evil twin attack comes from. Two access points that look the same, so you know evil twin, one is good and the other is evil. Anyway, the goal is to trick individuals into unknowingly connecting to the bad network, thinking it's the good one. Usually, this access point has a name similar to the real one with few characters that anyone could miss. Once connected, the attacker can listen on communications, intercept sensitive information, or even launch more severe attacks like man-in-the-middle exploits. This type of attack usually happens in public places, so remember that next time you connect to the public Wi-Fi of your favorite coffee shop. Thank you for watching the video all the way to the end. Remember to use a password manager. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay friends, imagine the internet as a super cool amusement park, and websites are the rides and games in that park. Now, there are some bad people out there who want to mess up the fun for everyone. In that context, visualize the internet as a vast network of connected computers, and websites are the digital places you visit on this network. However, in this digital world, there are individuals with malicious intent who aim to disrupt these websites' normal functioning using a cyber attack called a DDoS attack. DDoS stands for Distributed Denial of Service. It's like having a massive, never-ending line in front of your favorite ride at the amusement park. This line gets so long that nobody else can get on the ride. And that's the aim of a DDoS attack, to make a website or game too busy to work properly. DDoS is a cyber attack strategy where the attackers use multiple compromised devices, such as computers and servers, to send an overwhelming flood of internet traffic to a specific target, like a website or an online service. The goal is to saturate the target's resources, rendering it inaccessible to regular users. DDoS can work in different ways, but it can be summarized in 3 basic steps. First, there's a trouble team. These are the bad guys forming a team of super fast robots, not the friendly kind, who listen to their commands. In reality, these are the bad actors creating a network of zombie computers and devices, often referred to as botnets. Then there is the overwhelming rush. These robots are told to rush to a website or an online service at the same time. This rush makes the website or game very crowded. These botnets or compromised devices are then instructed to send a massive surge of data requests to the target website or service simultaneously. This flood of incoming data is similar to when a huge crowd rushes to grab the last piece of cake at a party. causing a chaotic situation. Finally, complete chaos. With so many robots trying to move to the target at once, the website becomes like a big jigsaw puzzle with pieces everywhere. Total chaos. As a result, it slows down or even stops working. The excessive traffic generated by these compromised devices overwhelms the target's bandwidth and processing capacity. Ultimately, the website or the online service may slow down significantly or even become inaccessible. The consequences of a DDoS attack can create so many problems. Simply, people who want to visit the website or use the online service can't do it because of the massive demand. The disruptions caused by DDoS attacks result in the users being unable to access the website, much like trying to get on a popular ride at an amusement park when there is an impossibly long line. Then you have the financial squeeze. The folks who own the website can lose money because they can't run things properly. These attacks can lead to a financial loss for the owners of the website due to the downtime and the costs associated with mitigating the attack and restoring normal operations. But we should never forget about the sneaky tricks. Sometimes the bad guys use DDoS attacks as a sneaky way to do other bad stuff. DDoS attacks are occasionally employed as a smokescreen strategy. While the target is struggling with the attack, cybercriminals may use this chaos to carry out more malicious activities, such as attempting to infiltrate the target's systems or steal sensitive information. But with all of this damage, there are different ways to defend against these digital troublemakers. First, we have online protectors. Some companies have online superheroes who can spot a DDoS attack and help stop it. Defending against DDoS attacks requires a combination of strategies, such as the use of DDoS mitigation services provided by specialized companies. Then, being ready. Amusement parks need to be prepared for super long lines by having bigger doors and more staff during a popular event. From a website point of view, this means bandwidth and security measures. To be ready for DDoS attacks, online services must be equipped with a scalable infrastructure. This means having the ability to handle a sudden influx of traffic at any time. You can also block the bad guys. Special tools are used to spot and block the bad traffic from causing trouble. These are specialized traffic filtering and analysis tools that can identify and block malicious traffic, preventing botnets from overloading the website or the online service. After that comes the role of implementing emergency plans. Just like having a plan for a rainy day at the park, there are plans for what to do if an attack happens. Having a well-defined incident response plan is crucial. This plan outlines the steps to take in the event of an attack, allowing for a more efficient and effective response to minimize damage. And finally, stay updated. Make sure everything in your online system is up to date. The same way a video game gets new features and bug fixes, your systems and applications need to be always updated and backed up. This helps reduce vulnerabilities that attackers might exploit and keeps the online environment safe. If you're a small or a medium business owner and you find yourself in the middle of a cyber attack, then having a good understanding of the essential 8 is important. So make sure to check the video on the channel to learn more about it. DDoS attacks are an ongoing challenge in the digital space. By comprehending their mechanisms and employing proactive defense strategies, organizations can safeguard their online presence and maintain a secure and enjoyable experience for users. Thank you for watching this video. If you found this content helpful and you learned something new, please hit like, share and subscribe and help spread this content to contribute to a secure digital space. For now, stay safe and I'll see you in the next one.